Hey y'all, so as many of you may know, I spent the last week, which was also the week of my 21st birthday, in Orlando, and while I was there, I got to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And since Harry Potter is such a big staple in the booktube community, I figured I would go ahead and make a video kind of talking about my experiences at Harry Potter World, telling you what the best aspects of it are, giving you tips if you plan on visiting, and stuff like that. And I also spent a little bit too much money on stuff at Harry Potter World, so I figured that I would also go ahead and show y'all what I got and do like a Wizarding World of Harry Potter haul. So the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is actually split up between two different sections of the Universal Resort in Orlando. The first section, Hogsmeade, has been open for at least 4, maybe 5 years, and it is in the Islands of Adventure half of the park. And the Diagon Alley section is new. It's been open, I think, a little bit less than a year, and it is in the main Universal Resort Park. And when Diagon Alley was added, they also added the Hogwarts Express, which will take people between the two parks. However, to be able to go to both parks in one day and to be able to ride the Hogwarts Express, you do have to have a park-to-park pass, which is more expensive than just buying a pass to one park. So if you do want to go to both sections of Harry Potter World, you do have to have passes to both parks in Universal. And while this is a pretty obvious way for the parks to make even more money and is a pain in the butt to us, I would definitely recommend that if you are a really big Harry Potter fan and you do want to visit Harry Potter World, get the park-to-park pass, because it is definitely worth it. Because the two parks are very different but also very complementary. Now, this is not the first time that I have visited the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I was able to go my senior year of high school, which was a little over 3 years ago, and at that point only the Hogsmeade section was open, so I can talk about the park both before the addition of Diagon Alley and after. And my overall opinion about Harry Potter World boils down to, even though the experience and the rides on both sides are really cool, I think that the Diagon Alley experience is cooler than the Hogsmeade experience, and I think that the rides over in Hogsmeade are better than the rides in Diagon Alley. So about the rides over in Hogsmeade, you have, I think, what is called the Forbidden Journey, which is the big ride inside of Hogwarts, and you also have a roller coaster that is called Dueling Dragons, where there are 2 separate tracks, and you also have the Flight of the Hippogriff, which I wouldn't say is a kiddie roller coaster, but it's definitely a lot calmer of a roller coaster than the Dueling Dragons one is. However, over in Diagon Alley there's only one ride, and that is the pseudo roller coaster that is the Escape from Gringotts. Now, the Escape from Gringotts ride and the Hogwarts Forbidden Journey ride are very similar in the fact that they are both kind of abnormal forms of a ride. For example, both rides have heavy use of like a 3D screen, where you are looking at something and it feels real, but it's just actually a huge screen in front of you. However, the biggest difference between the two of them is that the Forbidden Journey Hogwarts ride has you in like a row of 4 people, and it's like one of the rides where there's a track above you and your feet dangle down, but your group of 4 people is independent of the rest of the people riding. It's hard to describe if you haven't ridden a ride that's similar to it. The Gringotts ride, however, is slightly more similar to an actual roller coaster in the fact that you are in a cart with several rows, and it does follow a more typical roller coaster track. And like I said, both rides are pretty atypical, so it's really hard to describe unless you have actually ridden on one that is like this. And in my opinion, the Hogwarts ride is significantly more dynamic and exciting than the Gringotts ride, and plus that side also has the Dueling Dragons roller coaster and the Hippogriff ride. And while I didn't ride the Hippogriff ride this time, I did ride it last time, and it wasn't very exciting for me. I like really big roller coasters. However, the Dueling Dragons ride, both tracks are super exciting, and I would definitely recommend it. Super cool. The Hungarian Horntail, which is the blue one, is the one that I preferred, but I also think the Chinese Fireball was super cool as well. So yeah, Hogsmeade definitely has the cooler rides in my opinion. However, like I said, I think that Diagon Alley is overall a better experience, especially for really devoted Harry Potter fans. And that doesn't mean that I think that Hogsmeade is poorly designed or that it isn't a good experience. I still really like Hogsmeade and I think that it's really great. However, I just think overall that Diagon Alley is a better, more immersive experience. Because when you walk around Hogsmeade, it's extremely crowded. I found it to be more crowded even than Diagon Alley most of the time. There are constant ride intrusions, like you see where the ride entrances are, and you can see people waiting in line for the Ollivander shop, and there are the Butterbeer carts in the middle of everything, and I felt like a lot of the extra stuff, like the rides and stuff, were a little bit more intrusive. However, when you walk into Diagon Alley, it feels like you're in Diagon Alley. Like all the shops are there, and it's just a really cool experience. They even have Nocturne Alley added on, which I thought was a really awesome bonus, and I thought it was super cool. Now, there was one complaint that I had that I think was a brilliant idea. I don't know why no one took this idea and ran with it, but Flourish and Blots isn't a shop that you can actually go into. I don't know how many of you know this, but in each sides there are shops that are not actually shops you can go into. They're just there for decoration to look at, and Flourish and Blots is one of those. And they've added this shop with like notebooks and pens, and I think that the logical thing here would be to make Flourish and Blots a shop that people can actually go into where the books are sold maybe, and pens and notebooks. It makes sense to me, but I don't know why it didn't make sense to the people who built it. But I digress. Like I said, experience is cooler in Diagon Alley, rides are cooler in Hogsmeade. So very quickly, there are 2 restaurants within the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Hogsmeade has the 3 Broomsticks, and Diagon Alley has the Leaky Cauldron, and for me, these were very comparable. I didn't really prefer one over the other. I thought that they were both just as good as each other. And they both served pretty similar food. However, I got Bangers and Mash over at the Leaky Cauldron, and I don't think the 3 Broomsticks had it. I got fish and chips there. However, like I said, they're pretty comparable. I like both of them. Moving on. So the last thing I'm going to compare in Harry Potter World are the different types of butterbeer. So originally there were only 2 types of butterbeer that were sold in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. There was the normal cold butterbeer, and there was the frozen butterbeer. However, since they have added Diagon Alley, they've also added hot butterbeer. However, these are not all the exact same drink at different temperatures. They all have slightly different things that make them distinct. For example, the normal cold butterbeer is definitely a pretty pure combination of root beer and cream soda, and it's carbonated. However, the frozen butterbeer is a slushy texture, and it's the sweetest of the 3, I would say. And the hot butterbeer was kind of chocolatey in flavor. I really don't know how to describe the flavor of the hot butterbeer. It tasted very familiar, but I couldn't place it. And even though last time I was there I had tried both of the types of butterbeer, I decided to try all 3 of them while I was there, just to kind of figure out which one I liked the best. And my opinion on the 2 that were already there stayed the same. I prefer the frozen butterbeer to the regular butterbeer. I just think that the regular butterbeer is a little watery tasting. It's not bad, I still like it, but I feel like the frozen one has a little bit more flavor. However, the big shocker was the hot butterbeer, because it was outstanding. Like, I thought it might be okay and it might be interesting, but I would still like the frozen, but no. The hot butterbeer was amazing, and I got it twice in the same day on like a 90-degree day just because it was so good. Like, I was over in Diagon Alley about half an hour before closing on my last day there, and I headed over to the butterbeer cart to get my second hot butterbeer of the day because I just wanted another one because it was so good, and they were out on that side of the park, so we had to take the train all the way across to the 3 Broomsticks where they still had hot butterbeer, and I was like so worried that we wouldn't get there in time. Like, we sprinted from the train station. I was able to get it, but like, that's how much I loved the hot butterbeer. So yeah, I would definitely say you should try all the types because they are all pretty good, but I would definitely say that the hot butterbeer and the frozen butterbeer are far superior to the regular butterbeer. Okay, so now moving on to the haul portion of this video. And before I jump into it, I just wanted to say that I am not bragging in any way, shape, or form about the things that I've gotten at Harry Potter World. Like, this is not meant to brag. I just wanted to show you guys what I got because I thought you guys would be interested in seeing it. And on top of that, I just want to say that I have been saving for this trip for quite a while. In my everyday life, I don't spend a ton of money, on this kind of stuff, but this was a very special event that probably will not happen for quite a while, so I wanted to get a lot of the things that I really wanted. So I got some stuff. And you can't really see, but I do have a couple smaller bags behind this big one, which is what I'm going to start with. So the things in this small bag are the first few things that I bought while I was at Harry Potter World. I got these in the shop in Diagon Alley called Wiseacre's Wizarding Equipment, which is the shop that the Gringotts ride exits into. So the first thing in that bag is a Ravenclaw bookmark that I did not plan on getting, but they didn't have the Ravenclaw bookmarks that I wanted. I'll put a picture of it right here. And so I ended up getting this one, and I think it is really cool. It's not online, but I really like it. And I'll probably still end up getting those online because those are super cool, and I really, really wanted those, but they were sold out both days. Next, because I have a weakness for these things, I got a 3-pack of notebooks that are all Ravenclaw themed. And you can see the 3 different designs of the notebooks on the back here. And the last thing that I got in that shop was a keychain of the Deathly Hallows mark. I've been meaning to get a new keychain for quite a while, and my last keychain, which broke, was one that my friend got me at Harry Potter World, which was a time turner. And so I figured I should just continue the theme and get a new Harry Potter themed one. So the next bag of stuff is from Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, and originally I wasn't exactly planning on getting anything from there because there are a lot of trinkets that aren't necessarily useful, like clothing or anything like that, but I figured that since I love Fred and George so much, I had to get some stuff there. So the first thing that I got there is actually one that I was already planning on getting, and that is a chocolate frog, which I have purposely not opened yet so that I can open it on camera and show you what I got. I actually got one of these the last time that I was at Harry Potter World, and I was planning on saving the frog for later or eating it slowly, but I accidentally brought it with me in a very warm car and it melted, and so I basically had to eat it really quickly while it was melting so that I didn't just have a mound of melted chocolate. So luckily this one is not melted and I can actually savor this one. Okay, so let's see what witch or wizard I got. Well, okay, I got Albus Dumbledore, which I actually got last time. Last time I was there, they had specific chocolate frogs that just had Albus Dumbledore in it that were slightly more expensive, and I figured I might as well get a Dumbledore because I know that I will like Dumbledore, but I got a second Dumbledore. So yeah, I'm still really glad to have this because it's pretty cool, and I actually don't have my Dumbledore one with me, so now I do. And I actually plan on displaying this box on my big bookshelf when I reconstruct it in the fall, and that's actually what I plan on doing with all the things that I bought at the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes shop, because let's be honest, they don't have much practical purpose in life. Speaking of not having a practical purpose, the next thing that I got are the puking pastilles. Once again, I plan on setting these on a shelf and like showing the box. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually eat the sweets or if I'm going to leave it in there for display, but yeah, these were, I think for me, the most memorable of their injury, like get out of class candies, and so I definitely wanted to get this one. I thought about getting the Nosebleed Nougat, but this one for me was more memorable. And the last thing that I got in the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes shop is a bottle of You-Know-Poo. Now, you are probably sitting there and saying, Kristen, this is literally the most ridiculous and pointless thing that you have ever bought in your life. But hear me out. For those of you who don't know, there is a scene in the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince book, which is my personal favorite, where Harry and the Weasleys and Hermione are walking down Diagon Alley and they come to the Weasley twins' shop and they see in the window the sign that says, "Why are you worried about you-know-who? You should be worried about you-know-poo, the constipation sensation that's gripping the nation." And the first time that I read that, I died laughing. I thought it was so funny, and it's still to this day one of my favorite Weasley twins moments / jokes within the entire series. However, it was sadly left out of the movies except for the actual jars of You-Know-Poo that are seen within their shop, and it actually says the whole quote on here, "the constipation sensation that's gripping the nation," and I just could not pass up the opportunity to buy this because it holds such sentimental value for me within the series. So yes, I will be proudly displaying my You-Know-Poo on my bookshelves in the fall. Okay, so now moving on to the wands. Now, I went to Harry Potter World with the intention of buying a single wand, but I ended up buying two. This is the wand that I did intend to purchase while I was there, and this is an interactive wand. However, I did not get it because I wanted to use its interactive purposes. Since the last time that I was there, they have added on wands that are not character related, but rather are made of woods that are associated with different months of the year. So like you get a wand that is associated with whichever month you were born in. However, I didn't exactly do that because wand lore kind of talks about the different personality traits that match up with different types of wands, and I didn't think that the one for June really fit me. However, I thought that the one for November, which is Reed, really fit my personality pretty well. So without boring you with all of the details, this is the Reed wand, and Reed is associated with creativity and intelligence, and it is almost solely a Ravenclaw wand. And on top of that, it also has pretty great associations with music, and so I felt like there was no possibility that I would get any other one than this one, because intelligence, creativity, and music are three of the most important things to me. And so yeah, the Reed wand is mine. And I decided pretty last minute to get another character wand. I already have Fred and George and Hermione and Draco, and so my logical choice was to go with Ron because he's my next favorite character. However, I really didn't like Ron's wand. I found it to be pretty boring, and so instead I decided to go with Sirius Black. I looked through pretty much all of the character wands, and I tried to find a balance between the wands that I really like and the characters that I really like, because there are definitely some really cool wands that are just labeled as like generic Death Eater wands, and I really don't want to get one of those because, you know, it doesn't have any association with the character. However, I think that Sirius's wand is really cool. It's got these cool markings on the end of it and on this part, and I really like Sirius as a character. And now we move on to the big bag, and the stuff in here was bought from various different stores. So the first thing in there was this Ravenclaw mug that I got. I was so excited for this one. If you can't tell, it says Wise across it. It's got a raven, even though technically it's an eagle in the books, whatever. And it says Ravenclaw on the back here, and it is super cool. I am obsessed with it, and I'm so glad to have another mug to add to my collection. Similar, the next thing that I have in here is a Butterbeer cup. Now, the Butterbeer does not automatically come in one of these. It comes in a plastic cup. However, if you pay $6 extra, it does let you get this, and you can actually bring this back and get 99-cent refills on any Coke products. And so I figured that this was a pretty good opportunity, and I can bring it back to the park and have a cool souvenir at the same time. So if there was one purchase that I made at Harry Potter World that even I think was a little much, it was this Ravenclaw Crest that I got. Now, I do not regret buying this in the slightest because I think that this is insanely cool. However, it was kind of an impulse buy, and it's a pretty big item. It was a bit hard to carry around, but I think this is super cool. And even though it seems like a kind of crazy thing to get at Harry Potter World, I do not regret it in the slightest, and I cannot wait to put this up somewhere. So we're down to the last couple items, the next of which is this really cool Ravenclaw t-shirt. You knew a t-shirt had to be coming at some point, right? There were a lot of t-shirt options, and there were a lot for different houses or for Hogwarts, but I really like this one. I love the design of this one. I love heathered looks, and so yeah, I am really excited about the shirt. And the final item in this haul is a Ravenclaw Quidditch sweater. Now, I thought about getting like the normal house sweaters, but they were pretty boring. I mean, they just looked like the house sweaters. They didn't have any sort of emblem on it saying Ravenclaw. They just had, you know, it was gray and it had a couple stripes on it. But this I think is really cool because it's blue, it has gray on it, it has the Ravenclaw symbol. I really love this, and I cannot wait till it's cold and I can actually wear this. So that is all that I had to show you today. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about Harry Potter World or anything like that, because I would definitely love to answer them, because there's a ton more stuff that I wish I could talk about in this video, but it would just take too much time. If you do want to hear a little bit more about my thoughts on Harry Potter World, I did do a full blog post, which I will link down in the description, It will probably go in a little bit more detail than this video did, so if you do want to hear more, just go ahead and check that down in the description. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!